Hello, everybody. My name is Carson Mangden, and this episode of the podcast has been really special to me because I got to catch up with a good friend of mine from back home. We were in a worship band together for about 4-ish years, and so I got to know him a lot, and he's got to know me a lot, and we've played a lot of great music. So I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Ben Mason.
I didn't know you were recording already. All right. Sorry.
Yeah, I just started recording. So, First, introduce yourself, and who are you, what do you do, and stuff like that.
I am Ben Mason. I am the worship and creative director for Catalyst students at Catalyst Church. So I handle any and all music, media, design, all of it.
All the shabazz.
All of it, yes.
So is that kind of a role that you like, whenever you came to our church, is that like something that you like wanted to do whenever you got there, or just like happened?
So I actually wanted to go to college to like learn how to do it.
You went, wait, did you go to college?
No.
I didn't think so.
No, college is useless.
That's right.
No, so it was something that I wanted to go to college to do, and then I was too dumb to go to college. I just didn't really try that hard to get in. But yeah, I came here and volunteered, worked my way up the ladder, and now I'm here in the youth ministry.
Did you do like ministry worship team stuff like before you came here?
I've done it my whole life. My dad was a pastor for 15 years at a church where we didn't have.
You're sweet. But yeah, sending it to me is even easier. Thank you.
My dad was a pastor of a church where we didn't have any kind of team or really anybody doing that, and so I just figured it out as I went along.
Yeah. Did he do worship and stuff too, or no?
No. Wait, say that again?
Did your dad do worship and stuff too, or just the pastor?
No, he was just the pastor, and so I just filled that. I don't have the keys.
Who all is there?
That was Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
Carson said, "Hey." I don't think.
Dang, that's okay.
On right now. All right, but yeah, so I actually started doing like worship type stuff when I was like 10.
Yeah.
I was really young.
Did you do it specifically to like fulfill the needs that your church had at the time, or just because that's what you enjoyed doing?
Well, I saw Country Bears and I really liked the movie.
You saw what?
The Country Bears, the movie.
Oh, okay.
You never watched it? It's a great movie.
I think so. Isn't that the one where like the Bears play instruments and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's really dumb.
I vaguely remember that movie.
But I was like 8 years old and I saw that movie and I was like, I want to do that. So I started singing in church, and yeah, I just did it because there was a need, and I was the only one willing to sing, and I just learned as I went along. So
that's interesting. It's worked out so far.
Yeah, it's worked out. Got me a wife doing it, so
yeah, that's not too bad too, huh?
So yeah, been doing it for a while.
Yeah. So how was it like transitioning from being like the one worship guy at your church to coming into our fairly large church and being another person in the mix?
It's awesome because then it doesn't all fall on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like there, it was like I was the only one. That's it. But here, there's a ton of other people to back up, back me up, that I can back up, and like, yeah, there's just a whole thing where it's like not everything falls on my shoulders. It doesn't live and die by me.
Yeah. So
it's way better to just not be the sole person.
How long were you doing that at your old church too? So you started at 10. You were like 20-ish by the time you came to us.
Yeah, like 8 or 9 years.
Dang.
So
that's huge.
But it was a big thing, like going from just being myself to not only being on a team but leading a team. Because I came here and was just on the team for a few months, and then I was thrown into leading a team like within a couple months.
Yeah.
So it was. I mean, it was
quick. I remember the first night you were there.
Yeah, when I was Flyers.
Yeah.
You got the shoes.
I was like, Well, I remember seeing you there because I hadn't been home for a while. I was like, oh, who the heck is this guy? Because he is killing it in the corner.
Yeah.
They
But I
just-
mean, you were there when I first started leading the team. I had no idea what I was doing.
yeah,
It's a whole different thing from being
it's weird.
team to leading it and stuff. But hey, we worked out. I mean, we had a
It's all been pretty smooth so far.
it's been alright.
Well, now that you like lead your own team, how is the process of like bringing somebody into the group changed since you game?
It's a lot slower. I've slowed down the process a lot, and that's caused me to lose a lot of people. But I do it in a way to where it's like, hey, I want you to be here because you're here, not to be here to be on stage.
Yeah.
So I've kind of slowed down the process a little bit with like onboarding people to where I'm more like have a conversation with them, and then a little while later, I have a conversation with them, plug them into our leader system, like with the leaders meetings and all that kind of stuff, and then after a while, I'll audition them, and then we'll see how they do if they kind of stick around. Obviously, if they're not good, then immediately it's just like, hey, just stick with the leaders meetings. It's fine. Excuse me. But then after a while, if they're faithful in the ministry, if they're faithful in what they're doing, then it's like, hey, I want you to come be a part of this. But because I don't want it to just be people that just want to be on stage.
Yeah, it's a weird like fine balance that you have to have of like your own walk and like your own faith, and then also being good at what you do on stage and stuff too.
Yeah. You got to be good, but then your heart also has to be good.
Yeah.
And it's really rare to find those people. Like right now, our strongest part right now is like the vocalists. So I've auditioned a few like instrumentalists and stuff, and either their heart's really good and they can't play very well,
that's the worst,
or they play amazing and their heart sucks. Like they
Yeah.
just like I had a kid tell me a couple weeks ago, he's like, "Yeah, I just want attention."
Straight
I was
up.
like, that work out. Dang.
I don't think this is your band, man.
Yeah. You might want to go start playing in your garage. Put some stuff on SoundCloud.
That's so funny. I just want attention.
Yeah. It's like, that's a bold move. I mean, you can at least hide it from me and try and make me think like you're
Yeah, you can't even just like fake it for a little bit.
But I was just like, why do you want to do this? He's like, I just want attention.
Hey, all right, unless he knows what he wants.
Yeah, he's a go-getter. But he didn't make the team.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So would you like? I mean, since that's kind of like what you're looking for, would you also consider those like your like the top goals of the worship group as a whole? Is kind of have like good heart and then like good sound at the same time?
Yeah, the goal is a tight sound with morality intact.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, yeah, that makes sense.
There needs to be a tight sound, but then we all need to be together in what we believe and how we're living.
Yeah.
Because that's where unity comes from. Unity comes from like how we're living, like all living in one accord. Because if we're all together in how we're living, we'll come together and make a pretty decent sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that can be taught.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah, I was
teach
about to say because like even if your sound is lacking a little bit, if like the heart is there, you can definitely like work on the other stuff.
Yeah, I can teach sound. I can't teach heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, even if there's times where like the sound is kind of lacking or whatever, there's different things you can do. I mean, we've started using tracks again, which we hadn't used tracks in a long time, but we started using tracks again just to kind of fill little gaps and stuff. And man, it's made a huge difference. But the morality, or like the morale on the team, like the spiritual health of the team, the unity, I think has never been better. It's been man, especially from that first year, everybody just sucked.
What, like the first year that you were leading?
Yeah, it sucked, man.
Why?
Bass players sucked, the guitar players sucked, drummer sucked. Just all those seniors, when they graduated, I was like, thank God.
God. The only people who keep coming back.
Yeah.
Well, since you guys kind of have like you kind of like got your moral basis that you kind of want everybody to follow, along with like the songs that you have to play. Like, what kind of rules have you found? Whether they're like spoken rules or like also like unspoken rules that you guys also have within the group.
Do you mean like on stage or in life?
Well, a little bit of both, because I mean, there's still kind of like an image that you have to uphold off the stage.
Yeah. So off the stage, a lot of it is pretty much like, hey, keep a clean presence on social media because that's where everyone sees everything. So just keep a clean presence on social media. Don't be messing around with drugs or any of that kind of stuff, obviously.
Or at least don't make it public, eh?
Or at least don't make it public. But then the big thing is, if you are dealing with something, just tell me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna like get mad at you or anything. Like, my job is not to like chastise you or like piss you off. My job is to encourage you to go in the right direction, and I can't encourage you to go in the right direction if you don't tell me what direction you're going in.
Yeah.
At all. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
So it's more just like, hey, if you're doing something you know you shouldn't be, just talk to me.
Yeah.
That's kind of
better to deal with it on the front end than after the fact.
Yep. And then musically, it's just like, hey, just listen to the songs, please.
know what you're doing a little bit.
Just know what you. Yeah. Goodness gracious, it still amazes me how people can just show up and not have listened to the song. It's like, guys, I've been stressing about this all week, and you literally looked at the planning center set this morning.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Speaking of planning center, like, what different ways do you guys communicate in between the team? I mean, besides just like texting and like face to face and stuff.
Yeah. So we group chat now.
You guys use GroupMe?
No, I don't use GroupMe.
Come on.
No, I hated GroupMe. I hated GroupMe.
You get to have like a group photo and everything. It's real nice.
Dude, remember my first year, Abby Roy, every week, is there choir?
Oh my gosh. There's a couple, Mark would just get mad and be like, no, I'm pretty sure there's not choir tonight.
Yeah, Mark would respond and be like, there's no choir ever again. It would be like 3 months after I canned the choir, and it was like, is there choir this week? No. And then she'd be like, why? Because you left stage during worship to go to the bathroom, Abby. That's why.
Oh my gosh. What a trip.
Sorry. Gosh, I forgot about that. You mentioning GroupMe just brought up Abby Roy. Is there choir this week? No.
Oh my gosh.
But, so I have a group chat with my production team, and then a separate chat with my band. And then we use Planning Center Online, which is just an online scheduling system. So they have resources to chord charts, service flow, what position they are, times for rehearsals, service times, all that kind of stuff. And then it's just face to face. I like to live by this. Some weeks I don't do this, but I mainly like to text people before I schedule them, which seems kind of counterproductive, but I never want to just passively send someone a scheduling request without talking to them first.
Give them a nice little heads up.
Yeah, just like, hey, are you available this week? If not, that's cool. Just trying to figure out the plan. And then, yeah, people are always texting me like day before, like, hey, I can't make it, and then I got to configure.
Yeah.
Restructure the whole thing again, which is fun. But, you know, it's all good.
How is it different between talking to like your production guys who do all of like the lighting and the lyrics and stuff, opposed to talking to the people like on the stage? Like, what are like the different direction that you have to give them?
Lighting and audio and visual, they are way more detail oriented. With the band, I can just be like, here's the songs, here's the chords, figure it out.
Do it.
Production, they need to know every little color. They need to know any movement that's going to be on stage. They need to know, like, literally every little detail of the service. So the way I've had to communicate, and that's had to change for this year for me, Um, because this was the first year I've really led the production team.
Yeah.
It's been like, hey, show up and you can like run represent or something. But this year has been the first year where we have students running audio, video, cameras, and lights, like all, and they're being like, it's a team now. So the way I've started to communicate this year has been a lot more detail oriented, and yeah.
Do you feel you have to be?
Little thing.
Yeah. Do you think you have to be more detail oriented because some of them might not know the extent of like the production stuff, like some of the adult teams do?
In a way, but if you're talking to anybody production wise, they need like most of them are very much just detail oriented introverts, and they need to know details so they can just work in their area.
Yeah.
And that's not bad. I mean, some people just thrive in that.
Yeah.
So,
how do you interview somebody for the production team as opposed to onto the worship
with
team?
that, it's like, hey, do you like computers? Are you somewhat tech savvy? Okay. Well,
do you like being a part of something big but not your face at the front?
Yeah, so this year it's been a lot cooler too, because like the first part of the year I led the production team like hands on, and then starting in like December, a girl that used to run lights for Central Campus, she started volunteering at students, and so she actually kind of leads the production team now. So I more give her the details, and she makes it all happen with them. Like she does all the training, she communicates all the little details and stuff now. So she more takes the people and is like, "Hey, what are you gifted at? Like what makes you tick?"
Uh-huh.
So, with that, it's a lot. It's funny because with band, to get someone on the team, you need to know a lot more details. But once they're on the band, they don't need a lot of details.
Yeah.
But with production, you don't need to know a lot of details about them.
Yeah, it's kind of like on the job
team,
training.
Yeah, but once they're on the team, they need to know every little thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's not as intense getting on the production team, but during service, they're pretty intense back there.
Yeah.
They're very focused.
And it pays off too because it looks awesome and it sounds great whenever it all comes together and works.
Dude, our team has totally stepped it up in the last year.
Yeah. Are you guys still in? Are you guys still in the annex?
Yep.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I loved it over there in the annex. It always felt like more intimate in there, and it was like
Yeah.
it felt like it was your. It felt like it was like your space.
Have you been over there since we've done like kind of redesigned it and like redid everything in there?
I haven't been there since like early December.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you were in there then.
Maybe. Yeah, I was there whenever you guys had the drum set was like in the middle of the building. There was
Okay,
like some red carpet thing.
You haven't seen us do a full production in there yet.
No. Well, I've come to like the back end of one before.
Yeah. Dude, it's like a new level in there.
I know. I love seeing all the pictures and stuff.
Dude, it's
oh,
awesome.
that's another part of the big team too. Because like since you lead all that stuff, how do you find people to join on your like camera crew and everything? Or is that more Sarah's job?
That's all Sarah. she finds them, recruits them, trains them.
Dude, those pictures look so good too. It's so crazy.
She's incredible. She's incredible, and what she can train people to find moments too.
Yeah.
Which is just like
that is such a weird thing that you can kind of like feel whenever like a good picture is coming with something too.
Yeah, it was, and you know it's crazy. So Sunday night we had, Sunday night was just kind of like any other night. It just started and it was going pretty good, and then there was just this one moment in worship where it just hit, and it was like one of the most intense worship moments I've ever even been a part of.
Yeah.
And Sarah was at a photo shoot Sunday night, so she got there late.
Yeah.
And she came in right after the moment ended. And it was, dude, I'm telling you, it was like insane how engaged, how loud, just what it was. And so I realized, I was like, wow, we never got any photos of that. We never captured that. But the cool thing about that was like, man, we didn't have any photos to capture it, but everybody here,
They'll remember it too.
they'll remember it. We don't need photos to remember it. So
That's definitely like a weird kind of connection you can get with your crowd, especially when like sometimes you play like the same songs often. So
Yeah.
it's not really like anything really changes, just sometimes they just hit harder than others.
you want to know something?
What?
So I actually have a report of our songs. You probably can't see it, but this is like 20 new. We average 4.3 per service, and then where is the 49 songs.
Dang.
This is how many songs we have on our list in the last 6 months.
Dang.
And and that's still with like wearing some songs out,
Yeah.
which is just wild to me that we.
Is that off of Planning Center too?
Yeah. So it's just a big report with what songs, how many times they're done, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's how I build sets.
Okay. So what more goes on behind the scenes on Planning Center besides you just communicating them and keeping up with those songs?
It's just resourcing.
Is that do you find more music on there or is just
Kind of, yeah. But it's really just like, hey, if there's a certain tutorial, it's just linking it to the song, so like whoever's like on drums or bass or whatever can like kind of find the tutorial and like just learn it better.
yeah.
That's what Planning Center is. It's more resourcing than scheduling.
Yeah, is it made specifically just for like worship teams and like church bands or is it
So Planning Center has a lot of different things. So they have like groups. Oh man, I can't even think of it. But they pretty much Planning Center Online Kit is a program that can like cover pretty much all aspects of church. So hold on, can you still see me?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's calendar, there's check-ins, there's groups, people, and services.
Yeah.
So Planning Center can just cover like most of your like organizational aspects for a church. I only use services because
Yeah. That's all you're good for, huh?
that's all I'm good for pretty much. Yes, thanks, Carson. So yeah, but my job's pretty boring.
Your job's pretty sweet. You do a lot.
I do a lot.
You do a lot.
But my voice is currently gone right now too.
Dude,
so.
me too. I'm getting the flu. My sinuses have been sore from getting real stuffy.
Dude, I did the Richlands opening Sunday morning.
Oh yeah, you guys opened up the new place, right?
Yeah. So I led over there with Sam Lantos. She's the worship leader there, and then I went straight into youth.
Oh.
And my voice is absolutely shot.
Good. How are you?
Shot.
Good.
So
Question.
Hello, is that Sarah again?
that is not.
Damn.
That is Alex Paget.
Hello, Alex.
Carson said hi.
Oh, Carson.
Yeah.
Hi, Carson.
She said hi, Carson.
Sweet.
Sorry, what was the question? What was it?
I don't know.
We opened. It was fun.
One of my questions right here is what kind of specialized language do you guys have within the group? Which is kind of a weird question, but I think mostly it's like, for me, whenever I was talking about it prior to this, it was like the music and like the sheet music that you guys have.
Yeah.
Like, cause like if you just gave a sheet music to somebody and didn't tell them what any of it was, it would be very confusing to try and figure out how to sing the song. But since you guys have like that connection and like the correspondence between what everything's supposed to be and what it's supposed to sound like, it
so
definitely changes everything up.
I was texting Colt about this, like right before you called me. Ooh, excuse me. I had Blaze Pizza for lunch, so I'm like, really
Dude, that stuff was so good.
But one thing I've actually been starting to incorporate with the team is the Nashville number system. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But
For
Nashville number,
like for scales and stuff.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
So like instead of talking in chords, we talk in numbers.
Yeah.
So I've been like slowly like kind of teaching people to do that a little bit, to like more think in numbers instead of chords, because if you think in chords then you're stuck with that key.
Yeah.
But think in numbers, so you can go into any key and play any song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's a lot easier to lead if you're talking in numbers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's pretty awesome that you're introducing to them too, because it's kind of like advanced, like almost like music theory stuff too.
It really is.
I didn't even start learning that until I was like out of high school.
Yeah, I'm 23 now, and I'm just learning it a little bit. I've known about it for a long time. I've kind of done it, but
yeah.
The number system is something that, like, especially if a musician wants to go to college, if they go to college and knowing the number system,
it makes it so much easier.
They're way more ahead of any other freshman there.
Yeah, for sure.
You know? So, yeah, that's been one little thing that I've been like trying to like just throw out to people. Is like, hey, instead of saying, hey, we're gonna end on the F, we're gonna end on the 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're like, what does that mean? So I kind of just explain like in the scale, that's where it is.
Yeah. That definitely makes it so much easier.
It really does. Once you get it down, it's so
and then,
easy.
and then you can kind of like count it on your instrument too, instead of trying to remember what string notes are and everything.
Yeah. But then also just in communication with the team, I don't really have any special language. They just know if I lift my guitar, that means stop playing.
Yeah.
Like, which I did that when you were there.
Yeah. I always liked, like, since I was like in a worship band for a while, whenever I'm watching a worship band, I like to see like the secret
signal,
the secret communication between everybody.
A lot of teams will do like hand signals.
Yeah.
So like this is like go to the chorus.
Yeah.
This bridge.
Uh-huh.
I guess. I've done that with them sometimes too. Like, hey, if I'm not leading with a guitar or anything, and I do like this, that means go to the chorus. This means go to the bridge. If you see my fist, that means stop.
Yeah.
If you see me doing this behind my back, that means build it up. Go. If you see me stomp my foot, I always tell the drummers, if you see me stomp my foot, you start hitting the kick to that beat.
If you see me feeling it, you better start feeling it.
Yeah. So
that was probably one of my favorite things, like being in the band. It was like those extra moments where like we weren't planning on this, and then you're like, I remember being on the drums like, oh, are we doing this?
We're going.
Oh, we're going.
Yeah. Yeah. So lots of little things.
Yeah.
And it's not something people pick up overnight. That takes time. That takes building relationships with people, building trust. Yeah.
And I think that builds like all aspects of like what your main goals are. It's like when you're gaining trust with the musicians and like the musicianship of the band, you also feel more confident in yourself, and like your faith can build a little bit stronger with these other people too, which is awesome.
Exactly. Yeah, it just, I mean, you remember like when I started leading the team, it took a while for all of us to kind of like get the hang of each other.
And it was like weird because we're all like kind of standoffish about each other too.
Yeah.
And then like
I don't feel like I was standoffish.
Yeah. Okay, fine. We were standoffish towards you.
Because I mean, you're going from George to me, so I mean, I understand it. We're in the last year. You went from Lenny to Josh.
Yeah.
Now you're going from George to me.
It's so funny because like in the beginning of those changes, we're like, oh well, he doesn't do that. Well, he doesn't do this, and then like, after a while, you're like, oh, they're both pretty sweet.
Yeah, they're all right. Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. It just takes a while to build relationships.
Yeah. That's one of the best parts about it too, I think. I mean, between like the band and then also the band with like the crowd too. I think that's what really builds into those moments.
Yeah, like we did the conference a couple months ago, and I put together a different team for that, and which was just all adults. Yeah. So I kind of built like my own personal all-star team.
Nice.
And man, it was legit, and so just having like
basically Alex's whole family.
Yeah. No, it was actually Alex was there for that.
Oh dang.
Yeah, no, it was dude, we've gotten so many cool new people in. Like this one guy that does like all programming and stuff.
Yeah.
He almost like eliminates the need to do tracks because he just like We did, dude, 2 weeks ago, we did Closed on Sunday. And he programmed it all. And it went off.
That's so awesome.
Because we were doing it on a Friday, so we were like, hey, Closed on Sunday, that'd be really cool to do, like, since we know, you know.
Yeah.
And, dude, it was easily, like, the most lit opener we've ever done. And he, like, programmed it all.
That's sick. I was waiting until you guys used one of the Kanye songs, dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
He's got
dude.
some good ones.
Some of them were good. The album as a whole was but it was good, decent.
I haven't listened to the album as a whole that much, but there's a few of them.
The good songs are the good songs.
Yes. Yeah. Have you heard the Sunday Service album they released on Christmas?
I think so, yeah.
It's just the choir.
Oh, yeah. Great. That's like the best part about it. Was just the choir pieces.
He's changing worship music.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
He's changing it. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Doing Kanye things.
Yeah. Who'd have thought we'd be so best?
Who thought we'd be here?
Worship music.
Like if you could have stopped me the night that he took the microphone from Taylor Swift and be like, hey, he's gonna have a pretty sick gospel album one day. I'd be like, no, not
Bro,
this
he's
guy.
starting a church in 8 years. Watch this. Oh my gosh. That's wild.
That's so funny.
We live in crazy times.
It is weird, man.
It was some crazy times, man. But yeah.